What if I told you that the key to curing chronic pain, allergies, and even saving marriages isn't found in a lab or a boardroom, but the human mind? Today's guest is a hypnotherapist who left a 15-year corporate career in oil and gas, topped global sales schools, won awards, and mapped underground volcanoes to rewrite the rules of healing. She's healed gluten allergies in 3 sessions, dissolved decade-old phobias, and even silenced skeptics like her own sister. Welcome to the show, Sreemanti Gijare.
Thank you, Tanya. I think that was very well written. I think you have done a proper background. You've studied everything about me. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Let's start with the biggest question, Sreemanti. How does a geophysicist become a hypnotherapist?
I used to be a corporate geophysicist. So I got my master's from IIT Kharagpur, one of the premier institutes, and from there, straight from campus, I landed one of the biggest jobs those days with Schlumberger. It's a very high paying company, travel the world. You know, like when you study something in the university and you get the job related to it, it feels great. So it was like, yes, the perfect thing. Whatever needs to be done in those lines, I did, like ticking all the tick boxes to become a better geophysicist. Rising the corporate ladder. Schlumberger, like my first company, it holds a very special place because I met my husband there. So yeah, that's great. But even though when I was ticking all the boxes, doing everything that was needed, there was always a gap within me. I felt I'm not happy. I'm not fulfilled. I'm not doing enough. I don't know what is that enough. So there was always a missing puzzle piece. And what would give me that satisfaction, I had no idea. If the English phrase headless chicken, like I would go full of energy, go. And like I didn't get the satisfaction. How did I land to become a clinical hypnotherapist? That's a long story, but when it happened on full blast. So as I was telling, I was always feeling unsatisfied from the beginning, but it became more apparent as I aged. I remember I used to come and tell my husband, like, you know what, I'm not happy. I feel as if I've not been utilized properly. And he would say, you have so much of clutter, so much of chaos within you. Why don't you go inward? And I never understood what he said. He said, start doing meditation. And I was like, how to do that? What is it? Because yoga and all I always did. Okay, I had certain principles in life. No smoking, no drinking, sleeping early. I had it throughout. So what else can I do? And then I started doing meditating. It was no proper way of meditation. I was just like, I know I'm meant to do something. You show me the way. So I would start with that thought and try to go in. Like when I say in, like closing my eyes and just going with the thought, what is it that I'm meant to do in this lifetime? With that thought. And Tanya, honestly, it's very hard to believe. Even when I'm talking about it, I realize it's probably very far away from the science, rational part of it. But I literally heard the word hypnotherapy. It resurfaced in my space. So when I say coming up, it's like there was no external influence. I was not reading a book. Nobody around me has heard this word, being my relatives, my friends, nothing. So there was no external influence to it. And yet, when I first heard the word hypnotherapy, I got drawn to it. And I started doing online courses. And coming from geophysical background, like it's a science-based, rational, when I started reading about this, it felt as if a part of me knew this. And I would remember these difficult terminologies and I could give the test and get full marks in it. And I realized, no, this is what I'm going to do. So I started doing. And yes, I enrolled for this long classes and the rest, I did my hypnotherapy course, which is supposed to be 6 levels. I did it in a record time. You have to present cases, 10 of them. I did 12. And what I'm trying to say is like when I moved to that space, it was like you're meant to make that leap of faith. And when I did, thinking like others around me made me feel you can fall, I didn't. So I just flew, I feel, because now I'm a Dr. Sreemanti Gijare, which is and that too on my clinical hypnotherapy. So you can see the pace at what it has all happened. So that's the divine calling. That's my inner calling.
When you decide to move in alignment, suddenly everything goes on exponential. It's like time speeds up.
Yes.
Everything happens fast. So I totally relate to it.
So right, Tanya. So it is when you are aligned, universe makes sure it gives you everything that you need. Like people often ask me, what is your next step? I don't have it. I've come all this way without any strategies. There's no strategies. There's no business strategy. Nothing. It's just following my gut, following whatever like coming to you. It's like I just float. I feel like it. That's it.
So, Sreemanti, you went from predicting earthquakes to healing minds.
Yes.
What is the craziest similarity between geophysics and hypnotherapy?
Craziest similarity. Okay. In looking at the patterns, like whether to drill ahead or not, you look at these logs, and these logs, which is just wiggly lines for others, I could actually we have been taught to understand what are these wiggly lines means. Like what is a seismic curve is like there's a pulse going in and you record it and you understand what is the earth talking. So it may be total garbage to others, but I can interpret it. Same way, like a mind which like you feel like, what is it? Is as if it's smooth. It's like a symphony speaking. Like I can totally understand, connect, and declutter the noise and make it a music, I feel. So it's similar to that.
Wow, I love that answer.
Yeah.
At 40, most people are planning retirement.
Yes.
You quit a 6-figure job to pursue something that was radically different.
Correct.
What advice would you give someone who is at that brink of having to change, but they're afraid?
I think that, Tanya, that's a very, very tricky question, because at any given point of time, we are all scared, scared of what others are going to say. What if I fail? That leap of faith which I'm making, whether I'm going to land or I'm going to crash or fly. In my case, I'll be very honest, like leaving that job. Was it easy? Because there's a ching, that sound in the end of the month which you get, that your salary has been credited. It's the most comforting.
Yeah.
Yes. Leaving that cocoon is not easy, but sometimes you are pushed to do it, When you're pushed to do it, if you have a lot of bills to pay, a lot of things to fall back on, a lot of issues, luckily, see, everybody has it. Honestly, everybody has it. They have loans, they have EMIs, we all have it. But in my case, during that time, as if it was a difficult phase, by the way, COVID, and before that, everything was, I did get a lot of support from my husband, honestly. Like, okay, there's somebody who can pay the EMI. Nobody's latching onto me. It was me, because I like that safety. Anybody would in the corporate. But I can tell you one thing, after I've taken that jump, I cannot tell you how satisfied I am, how peaceful my sleeps are. So if you ask me can there be any moment of change or moment of no, absolutely not. So my advice to anybody out there who's still thinking, please make that jump. This is this lifetime. You're meant to do something. We all have something to give. So make that jump, and trust me, universe is there. If you know it's your calling, jump on it.
Love that. Now let's jump into hypnotherapy and how that can change or rewire your subconscious. One of the biggest things that a lot of people are facing is weight loss.
Yes.
Not being able to lose weight and binge eating. Studies show that hypnotherapy helps clients lose around 15 to 0.5 pounds. How does mindful eating through hypnosis transform the I need to eat to I need to heal? Hi there. My mission with this podcast is to create a space filled with love, peace, and hope, especially for those of you who are tired of viral and extreme content that floods our feed. To make this vision a reality, I'm bringing together a team of professionals who is going to help spread this message of hope far and wide. But I can't do this alone. I need your help. And here are 4 ways you could help with this movement. Number 1, turn on those bell notifications. Be the first to comment and engage, because that initial engagement and likes help the YouTube algorithm share a message with more viewers. Number 2, send this message to your family and friends who you think would resonate with our uplifting messages. Number 3, consider making a donation. Number 4, subscribe to the channel. As a working single mother who is on a mission to spread this movement, I truly appreciate your support. Together, let's be the catalyst to bring heaven on earth. Thank you so much for being a part of this journey. Now let's get back into the podcast.
So, Tanya, eating, binging, let me explain what it is. In most of the weight loss programs, it's all about controlling the body, controlling it. Body has its own mind. At what rate is your heart going to beat? Can you take a control of it? No. Our body it's an autonomous nervous. It's under the control of the autonomous nervous system. You have no control on it. Okay. So what is it that we can do now that we are eating, binging? Let me explain the concept of 4 bodies. We have got 4 bodies. We always focus on the physical body, the 4th body. The first body is called a thought body. What are you thinking? Now this body we cannot monitor, because this is like we have 4,000 message units per minute. It's going in our super mind, this super highway in our mind. It's like zig, zig, zig going on. Okay, it is the body which doesn't sleep. That's why even when you're sleeping in your night, like even if you have not moved an inch, you can feel very tired because maybe you fought a war, a battle. So that's a thought body. So how is this thought body coming then? It is coming through our 5 senses. These are our antennas, like our receptors. They catch. Okay, so maybe I overheard something, let's say I heard. So this gets mapped, the thought body gets mapped to the emotions now. So what I heard is now making me sad, let's say. So that is an emotional or the astral body. So the emotions, we are aware of our emotions. Unless and until we are in denial. You're angry. No, I'm not. Like that, Most of the time we are aware of our emotions. Whatever emotion we are having right now gets mapped to the energy of our body. Energy body or the chakra body. So when I'm saying, let's say, I'm sad, it gets mapped to the energy of the body. So when I'm sad, do you think I'm going to go and open the tear tap here? No, it's happening automatically. So that is the energy body or the chakra body. So there are 7 energy centers in our body. On top of these energy centers is our major glands. Like just now I said, tear gland. That's a minor gland. So what does a gland do? It secretes. So the problem is when it over secretes or when it under secretes. It creates a disbalance, and that gets mapped to the 4th body, physical body, as a symptom. So anything on our body is our communication. It's talking, be it physical, psychological or psychosomatic. Okay, it's talking. It's trying to communicate. It's trying to tell you that something is not right here.
Got it.
And we would try to address it by taking medication. We try to shush it. We try to suppress the problem. We are actually not addressing the root cause of it. And that is a causative body. So when you go to the cause of it, the problem no longer has to exist because you have gone to the root of it. So any problem is there's a bridge trying to take you there and trying to explain. Okay. Now coming to food and binging, like we always, like as a human body, like I'll start with a small example. A baby is crying. The most easiest way for a mom to soothe is to feed. That's the natural. We try to connect for the baby also, the connection is through food. So I'll give an example of a client of mine. So she used to feel unheard, unseen. Okay. And she's an executive, like she's in a senior position. But whenever she used to feel unheard and unseen, she would go and eat. And she didn't understand why. And when we went through this hypnotherapy, I'll explain the concept of hypnotherapy in 1 minute. Let me finish the story. When we did the hypnotic trance, and we went to when she was around 8. Okay, and that was the starting point of it. So whenever at home, like she realized, whenever at home she's unheard or unseen, she had a very loving grandmom. Like she would come and cuddle her, and then she'll say, okay, let me make you your favorite food, or it's a very nice gesture. But she realized whenever she's unheard or unseen, it gets connected to eating.
Wow.
So these are very subtle connections. Now, what is hypnotherapy? What is this hypnotic trance I was just trying to say is this. We have our mind is divided into 2 parts. Conscious mind, which is 10 to 12%. We think, decide, analyze, logical, rational, that's our conscious mind. 10 to 12% willpower. The next is the subconscious mind, which is 88 to 90%. This is where our conditioning is. This client's conditioning of as an 8-year-old, like whenever she's unseen and unheard, her grandma would come and cuddle and give her food, make her a favorite dish. So that was the conditioning which has been building on. You're getting my point?
I understand.
So when we are going to the subconscious mind, we go to those stories which were not properly accepted, heard. It was maybe covered by food. That's about it. So when you go to those patterns, you release it forever from your space because it no longer holds true for you in this moment of your life. Because you can be seen and heard now, maybe not when you were 8. So this is how it works.
In the spirituality community, we often talk about light workers all the time. And there is a misconception where they think light workers is someone who just spreads light and love, everywhere they go, it's just light. And they try to avoid the things that is dark. Like if there is war going on, etc. They're like, nope, I'm just light and love. But what a light worker actually does is it sheds light on the dark spots. And that's what hypnotherapy is doing. It is shedding light on those dark corners of your subconscious mind that is currently influencing.
Playing out in your life.
Yeah.
And you don't want it anymore, but it's playing out. It will play out. See, it is what you do without thinking is your subconscious mind.
Wow. Yep.
That is your conditioning. That's your learned behavior. You understand? So it's just playing out without you actively participating in it. Yeah.
Let's talk about body image. 63% of Gen Z tie self-esteem to social media validation. How can someone rewrite narratives such as, I'm unlovable at this size, I'm enough? How can they change it from I'm unlovable the way I am to I am enough through hypnotherapy?
If there's one thing I would like to put in everybody's mind, we are all enough. Can you just believe we are created by someone who's much more skilled, right? How can his creation go wrong? Tell me that. If I'm built this way, there is a reason for it. And I appreciate that. Is it ego? No. It is healthy. It is, I am who I am and I'm okay with it. So nowadays, the problem is we are angry because we have put ourselves in the social media, we are out for millions to see whom we are not even connected to. It's and you know what? Unnecessarily, I think people like to talk negative. They just want to put you down. So when you are out there, you should be okay with it. It doesn't matter. You put there because you are okay with it. How can somebody you don't even know, don't even care, or don't even have anything in your circle of influence you now? So it's actually, for today's generation, I will say, if you are having a healthy relationship with yourself, then only come out in the open, really. Otherwise, because in social media, you're out in the open, fully. There's no cover.
So this, talking about this, so I have been doing social media influencer for quite a while now. But suddenly, in last year, it didn't resonate with me anymore. And then I realized that I had to go to the deepest parts of me that I did not like. So every time, my body is one of the things that I didn't like. So I would think that I need to be more skinny, probably. And that led me to binge eating too. So I stopped posting anything on social media. And then I started to contract my world and go deeper inside to find out who I am. If I have to shed what you see on the outside, who am I in within me? Correct. And then when I started to realize that, I am that divine spark of God, the same way you said. Once I realized that, now when I, with that awareness of who I am, put myself out there, it doesn't affect me anymore. Talking to people. Or before, it's whatever I'm going to wear, is it trendy enough? Is this trending? Is this cool? People wear branded things. Mine is unbranded. Maybe I should wear branded stuff. But now it doesn't matter. So what you said is absolutely right, where you have to first figure out who you are and be so concrete about that idea.
Correct. And then coming. And by the way, and there's also one thing you also need to realize. People who are writing, or you may not know, they are always reflecting who they are, not who you are. Example, if I'm conscious about certain part of me, I'll reflect that on you. A person who's bald, they will look at others' hair, by the way. It's a human nature. So if they're talking bad about you, it's just their inner world is not in chaos, maybe. And that's why it's reflecting on their comments.
It's a projection
of who you are inside. Simple. So you cannot let that come to you if you're on social media.
Dealing with all the clients that you've dealt with, could you give an example of some of the projections that people have had where they judge someone too much, but you were able to redirect them and tell them it's actually a projection because of what you feel?
So I had a recent client, she's zero figure. She's very pretty Italian lady. And so she tells me that, Dubai is so flashy and I feel so uncomfortable. And I'm like, why? She said, I went to the party yesterday and I had to leave. And I'm like, why? And then she's saying, I left because I found them flashy and they're so superficial. I said, can you keep on repeating that? Flashy, superficial. She said, why? Because people are, I'm unable to connect. I said, but you went with your friends or you went to random? She said, no, I went with the friends. By the way, I don't have any problem with my friends. So who are you having problem with then? She said, are you having problem with the people around whom you don't even know? She said, yeah, because they are looking at me and they're judging. I said, you're so beautiful. Why are they judging you then? So this is exactly what I'm trying to tell you. Though she is perfect in every sense, in her mind she is not. She's telling me, yes, because I was not wearing the branded outfit. And I'm like, this is exactly what I'm trying to tell you. When we are very uncomfortable, and she's saying, I have no problem, I have this beautiful relationship with my friends, but I couldn't stand there because it is so flashy and Dubai is so show off. It's because you somewhere are not having that good relationship with yourself. How do you know you're having a good relationship? You can be anywhere and you're happy. I'm not saying unmindful, happy, at peace. You have to cut short and leave. That means there is something not right here. So she was aware that people are not looking at her, maybe. It's not like looking. It was the other way.
She was judging herself for not wearing the branded clothes. So then she judges everybody else for the
Correct.
same. And that's what
And that's why she's
looks
saying
like.
people are flashy because they were wearing branded clothes, no? So she felt out of place.
So once she understood this,
Yes, she is making this conscious effort. And I saw a beautiful post she put on Insta. She's got a lot of followers. I know her. I follow her Insta. She's with me. So I saw that we should stop looking at others through our glasses. That's what she posted.
that's cute.
Yes.
Yeah,
I said,
that's a big mindset
Yes,
shift for her.
yes.
And it's even freeing, liberating,
it is very
right?
liberating. It's very, very liberating that nobody is looking at you but you yourself first. You know, we very casually and very easily say stupid me. You know, I'm so blind. Why? Calm down. Don't use these harsh words even on yourself. When you are being so harsh on yourself, if somebody else is harsh, are you bland? Will you like it? No. Then don't say it to yourself. Simple. What is your equation with your own self will also direct others to behave with you, you know. So that's it. Like, have that equation with yourself.
How you talk to yourself matters. And it's not just vocally, the way you think about yourself constantly.
Correct.
Because you explained the emotion body,
Yes, the thought body, the causal body, that is the first. The emotional or the astral body, the energy or the chakra body, and the fourth is the physical body. So it is not how you're talking to yourself when you're with everyone, how you're talking to yourself when you're alone.
Have you done hypnosis on yourself to rewire certain subconscious beliefs that you've had?
So so I would like to put it in this way. Can hypnosis be done on self? Self-hypnosis is a way, there is a process. And how is it different from manifestations actually? What is self-hypnosis? It's like doing the same thing at a particular time every day. What is hypnosis? It's like a reconditioning. You're trying to condition whatever you have learned. Let's say you've learned certain things and it's no longer working for you. So you're trying to change that pattern by relearning a new thing. So when you're relearning it, it's like doing the same thing every day at a particular time. That is self-hypnosis.
So trying to build a new habit.
It's building a new habit. So, but will you understand the patterns? Like, why did I have the pattern? Because sometimes we have to erode the pattern to create a new one. Then definitely you need some help. You need the external help. It cannot work with the self-hypnosis at that point.
How would I know I need hypnotherapy?
So you were asking, how will I know that I need hypnotherapy? Like, I need an external help. The thing is, Tanya, example. I'll give you an example which is best understood, okay? So I had a client, she was crying. She tried to analyze herself why she was crying. So she was crying when she called me, she looked me up on Google and she called me. She said, I don't know why I'm crying. I'm constantly crying. And I'm like, oh, how is it? She said, it's like my inner weep and it's coming out as tears. I said, can you come to me? She said, yeah, I'll try my best. And she came and she's trying to tell me, so she's a married lady. She's a Singaporean, but she's staying here in Dubai, but Indian. And she has twins, 2 kids. She's married happily and she's married for the last 10 years. And she's telling me there's no need. There's no sad event in my life. There's no health issues, nothing. So and I'm like, so why are you crying? She said, I tried to analyze that. And the only thing which came to my mind is this. Before marrying her husband was a childhood sweetheart, and they were going around for some time. Unless, when her husband moved cities, they realized long distance is not working. So that's when they call it quits. And she said that 1 year, I remember crying like this. I used to cry every day, but that's gone, long gone. I'm happily married, so I don't know why I'm crying now. But I remember the feeling. This is it. This was something similar. And so I started working with her. I remember I started, third session, fourth session, I realized I haven't gone to the core yet. And she was saying, you know what, everything is done. I feel so good. I feel light. I'm not crying now. And then the fifth session, something happened which blew my mind, even hers. So when I put her in a trance-like state, she was 1.5 years old. She went to when she was 1.5 years old, and she used to stay with her grandmother. And her grandmother had a male servant. She was repeatedly raped by him. She doesn't even remember for how many days, months. So that trauma was trapped in her body. Do you understand? And though he was fired and everything happened, nobody probably counseled the 1.5 years old. So if you ask me again now, who was crying? This baby, this 1.5 years wanted to be heard. Did she ever cry again? No. I'm in touch with her. So that is how deep these stories are. She found no other help. Couldn't. She used her rational mind to solve it. She couldn't.
Wow.
And many things opened up. She told me, like right now, like after the sessions got over, she said, what, I'm enjoying my private moments with my husband. She also shared something with me which was like, I didn't know, like she said, what, I had very difficult time conceiving, and I was trying to understand because she has twins, and she was like, I tried IVF, didn't work. So it was the most difficult time. And then she had babies through surrogacy. So the body speaks. You're talking about the earth, the wiggly lines, the body speaks. You have to just understand what is it's trying to say. So you will know when you need it.
When you said this situation where she was crying, I was also going through a situation where my divorce was done, everything was done, finished. Years later, I would also just start crying for no reason. It would be like watching a very funny movie.
Yeah.
And I was like, what is this? It's like suddenly I'm losing control over my emotions, and that scared me. Why would I cry over stupid things? Like it didn't make sense. And that's how I started therapy and how I started going for hypnotherapy. Then my healing journey started, where I started to realize that, all the times that I didn't cry or didn't release those emotions, they're still stuck in my body.
Correct. So if it is stuck, it has to come out. You understand? It will come out. And by the way, this is a very interesting thing. Does it come out in your moments of sadness? No. When everything is going fantastic and you're like, nothing should comes up. Hello, you haven't dealt with this. Yes. And everything is fantastic because now you are in a calm space. That thing comes up. This also I've seen.
One of the things that people don't realize is, in order to release those emotions, you have to feel it.
Yeah.
Because I was thinking that, I would sit down and just write down, I release my sadness, I release it. No, you have to cry. If it's anger, you have to scream out loud. You have to shake it off your body. And that's what releasing those stuck emotions in your body mean. How much of a person's current life would be influenced by trauma that happened in their past life? Have you come across situations like that?
Oh yeah, many. So this is a very touchy topic, and because many people do not want to believe in it. I leave them. I'm not here to convince anyone. But I would like to tell you this, yes. So these folders get opened in our space when something similar happens. I've got so many amazing stories to share. I'll share a small one if you're okay.
Oh, absolutely.
So I had a client who had gluten allergy. So I was working with her, and she was my US client, and I was doing the session online. And she's a very well-known dancer. She has a troupe. She teaches students. And the thing is, when I started working with her, she told me, what? I am severely allergic. I said, define. She said, I have gone to hospital. I have been bedridden. So I by the way, I cannot eat at anyone's house. I do not I can only eat at my own house. And even lentils, I cannot. I said, dal, lentil, why not? She said, because asafoetida, the hing you put, it has gluten. And I'm like, what? Then I read that's the first time I read the contents, by the way, ingredients, and there was maida. Okay, so I realized this is serious case. And when I started working, the story is this: that she saw this. When she went back and she's telling, as I was telling you, what is hypnotherapy? The mind knows which file to pick up. So she went straight away into a space where she's saying, I'm seeing a very modern class, like a room, and I'm seeing a very old-fashioned lady wearing ghagra choli. So just imagine, this is called parallel realities. At that point, I couldn't connect the dots. So too many questions, and both the images went away. And I'm like, okay, hold on to that lady. Can you just tell me who she is? And she started following her, and then she realized, this is me. She told me, the energy wise, it's me. So there's a process of doing hypnotherapy, but she says, okay, this is me. And she goes ahead and she says, this looks like this lady, this me, I can cook really well. I can cook for hundreds of people. I'm very capable, so I can cook. And then after some time, she keeps quiet. I'm like, so what is it job? No, it's not others for the own family. It's like a big family. So she's saying, I'm cooking so much, but when it's my turn to eat, there's not much left. I said, why don't you increase the amount of your cooking? She said, yes, I did, but in the end, every day it's the same. Whatever's left over, she gets it. So that goes on. I'm asking every day the same. Cooking, eating. Okay. So I just fast forward her, and she goes to the last day. I just take her to the last day of her life, and she sees herself lying on the bed, and she says, you know what? Looks like we're in a well-to-do now. I can see my kids. I'm on reclining on a bed. So it looks like we are doing well now. I said, okay, great. And then she says, wait, my dying wish, I want to, this is what she's saying. I want to have a roti. I want to have a bread. And I'm like, why don't you ask your kids? She said, I did. I'm waiting.
Oh.
And then she dies without having it. So just imagine her dying wish to have a bread. She doesn't get it. It's like simple. Like maybe the kids were busy doing other stuff, like because the mom is dying, they're handling other stuff. It didn't occur to them as simple as this small roti. So when I'm working with this particular client, as I said, how is it impacting my current life? So I take her to like current life. How did this past life get opened in her current life? And she's telling me, oh, that was a dance class. Okay, I was 11 years old. I used to go to this dance class. She's telling me, okay. So the mind got the two things together. That is called parallel reality. It took me time later on to understand it. And she's saying, oh, that's a dance class. This is my Pune dance class. I said, okay, cool. And she's saying, okay, today I was exhausting day. So usually I dance for 1 hour. Today was a 2 hours, something like that. She was exhausted. She went home and she's saying, I'm sitting to eat. I can see the dining table. So as if she's having an eagle eye view, she's saying, I can see my brother, my sister, my parents. And then she said, I just finished my dinner. I said, cool. And then she said, but today I'm so exhausted, so hungry. I asked my mom, can I have one more roti? And my mom says, oh, she opens the dabba and she says, nothing, it's over. Would it be okay? Do you want, because she didn't have the dough. She said, do you want me to give you something else, or do you want me to still roll a dough for you, like make it process, And then she says, it's okay, mama, I'll make do with whatever I have right now. So that make do, that's the bridge from the last life's make do which she was doing all over. So that was how the gluten allergy got triggered in the current life.
Wow.
Can you believe it? So was my client aware that she had gluten allergy from 12? Of course not. But this went to enhance and increase till a point that she was bedridden and she cannot have it anymore. Now, so, when we did the session, and I was like, okay, but now I was not very confident to ask her to have gluten. Okay, I still remember, I was like, every day when I would meditate, I'll get certain things, I have to go and tell her, and I'm like, no, I'll give it some time, because I gave her certain things to practice. And it was 1 week, and she was starting her touring, dance tour. And after 1 week, I called her. I said, listen, I think you can start with a quarter of a bread, try. And what she said to me, see, this is when my disbelief comes out and universe gives me the answer. She tells me, you won't believe what happened. I said, like what? She said, so I'm in a troop, as you know, I'm like on trip with my troop. We are going, and so we went to this dinner place, and we ordered, and my students know, they ordered gluten-free for me. So we were all eating. Halfway through the dinner, the manager came running and says, extremely sorry, that was not gluten-free. And my students freaked out. Now she's going to faint. What's going to happen to her? And nothing happened. And my client is saying, yesterday, they had kept a Maggi and a samosa party because I love those things and I couldn't have it for so long. So what I'm trying to say, instead of me asking her accidentally, it all happened. You see this, how beautiful it is? So yes, past lives are like these folders which open up, get triggered in our current life when it has to.
There are no accidents. Everything
has for a reason.
Everything is a sign. Call it synchronicities from the universe.
It's perfect. Everything is perfect the way it is.
I wanted to go back to the incident of the lady who did not remember being abused when she was a child.
Yes.
So this goes to show that as a child, the things that must have happened to you that you didn't make sense of would still affect you, because 1.5 years old, you're still so young, you don't understand what's happening.
Of course.
So that affects anything. So if you are going through a situation where you can't make any logical sense to why you're feeling a certain way, please try out hypnotherapy.
There's something I will add here. You're talking about 1.5 years. When a child, when a mother conceives, that time also, how is she feeling? The baby takes all the feeling, not just the nutrition of the mom. So is she feeling safe? Those also emotions are here because it's inside you.
That was actually my last question to you, which which had to do with ancestral trauma.
Oh yeah.
Does it exist? Do you have?
I have had, I have worked on many of my clients who had ancestral curses.
No way.
Yes.
Can you tell us about it?
So, and ancestor curses on male child.
I thought everybody liked males and they just buried the girls.
No, oh yeah, I have had stories of, so I call it story only because it's so beautifully fabricated. It's like a movie happening in front of you. So yes, if the female one, I'll tell you, this is in a village where every household will have a female in the house who will have marriage issues.
Uh-huh.
There is, and it is so true. Like in that village, everybody, one of the female will, like suppose there are 5 sisters, one of those sister will not be married, or even if she's married, she'll get divorced. Or these are all curses which goes on.
How is that possible? How is it possible for someone to have so much control over? Like, what should you be doing to curse someone that it's going to affect them over and over again? And would hypnotherapy actually heal that?
Of course. See, any curse, it's like a shift in energy. What is hypnotherapy? Working on the energies, no? And awareness. As you just now said, that 1.5 years old would not. No, now she knows. Is the incident going away from you? No, it is there, it happened. It is the awareness that brings a shift in you and can heal generations, So that's how it works.
Interesting. Have you had situations where clients remember being on other planets?
Yes, other planets. That's a very common one, by the way.
No way, that's a starseed. Okay.
That's a
Which
starseed.
planet?
Mostly Mars.
Mars?
Yeah, it's in a space of destruction. Sent here on missions. Oh yeah, I've seen many of them.
Elon Musk, do you think he's from Mars?
See, there are many who are on this planet Earth. They're on a mission to create something big. Also on a mission to destroy. There are conflicting and contradictory energies happening. The creator and the destroyer together. Yeah. So, is he from Mars? I would not like to comment on that. Whatever it is, I feel at this point, planet Earth, I'm here, you are here. Let's make this place beautiful.
Absolutely.
So one story which is weird and backward because we are talking right now.
Yeah.
I would like to say that.
Okay.
So I had a client who had chronic back pain. Okay. She came to me and she said, I have this chronic back pain, and this pain was with her for a long time. So she would say sometimes it would aggravate and she would do some physiotherapy, it will settle down. Again, it will start up. So I was like, okay, let's start working. So I remember in one of the sessions, it came up. So she was lying down and she had some issues with her mother-in-law. They did not, normally, I thought it's okay, not a big deal. So the energies were not aligned. She didn't like her, so okay. So when I take her in a trance-like state, my client is saying, I see a lady. Oh my God, the lady. I said, do you know her? She's like, I don't know who she is. I don't know. I said, okay. And then as the lady is coming towards her, imagine, how to describe this? She's watching a movie and I'm watching it through her eyes. Imagine it this way, okay? So he said, okay, do you know her? She said, no. But she has the energy of my mother-in-law. And I'm like, so my antenna goes up. And I'm like, because sometimes when energies do not align, maybe she is sent it. And when somebody is sending something without your consent is black magic. So all of these things are, but nothing like that. So we asked this lady, who are you? Are you sent by her? No, nothing. Okay. She gives the name and all of that. And all of a sudden, my client, who's in a deep trance, screams so loud that I thought she's going to open her eyes and the session is over. And I don't understand. I don't know right now why she was screaming. And I'm like, what happened? Why are you screaming? And she said, I just saw that this lady who came, she got murdered. And I'm like, what?
Oh my.
So she's saying, yes, in front of me, she got murdered. And I'm like, who's murdering her? And she's like, her husband. And I'm like, all of this, while saying also I'm feeling it. I'm like, what? She said, yeah, her husband is murdering her. I'm like, okay. So there is a process, we go through it. Actually, the murder has happened now. So we ask her, why are you here? And so she says, she admits, yes, I was murdered by my husband. I wanted to show you this. And I want to also, I said, why are you in her space? She said, I realize you are the one who can release me. And my client was like, okay, but still, why me? So my client is from a place called Meerut. And she's like, because this lady gives the address and she's also from Meerut. So why, she says, because whenever I used to come, I knew you could help me release one day. Okay, the one who got murdered, she's saying. And you have to understand one thing. The energies are all around us. They enter our space when our vibrations and their vibrations match.
Right.
So what matched? So my client was also a very vulnerable state when she was visiting her in-laws. Meerut was her in-laws' place. So somewhere there was an energy match. Boom. It comes in without your permission. Okay, because the energy is now matching. So after the session, my clients client comes out and I'm like, we have done a proper release. So this lady's release, because she came for a release only. It's all done. And my client is like, she's a techie, by the way. So she's like, what happened? And I'm like, I don't know. You just happened. I don't know. I was also feeling a little off, like, what happened? She says, listen, nothing is making sense to me, but I will call you. You don't call me, I'll call you. First, I have to verify the facts. I said, up to you. Usually, when these things happen, when a past life, I tell them not to verify. It's not needed. A file is closed, it's closed. But she was adamant. She did her verification and she called me back after exactly 1 hour. She's telling me, you know what? It's true. All of the story is true. And I'm like, what? Yeah, she said, yeah. She is actually a long distance relative of my mother-in-law. That's why mother-in-law's energy.
Right.
And she was murdered. This is the name and this is all true. Can you believe it? And it was hard for her to believe, it was hard for me to believe. But what happened after this is like, those days, it was Friday, Saturday off days here. And I remember we did the session on Wednesday. And in this chaos of finding the truth and all of that, I forgot to ask her, how's her back? I forgot to ask her. And then Friday morning, when I was again, like when I'm in the morning, when I'm doing my meditation and everything, I realized I forgot to ask her how she's doing. This is all so overwhelming and all. So I picked up the phone. It was early in the morning. I never expected her message. Her message is the first thing. And I said, hey, I was thinking about you and I need to speak to you. And she's replying, I need to speak to you. I said, okay, let's call each other. She calls me and she's like, I said, can I go first? She said, okay, you first. I said, okay, cool. So because I'm a therapist, I just said, you know what? I hope you're doing okay. I didn't talk to you after that. How has it been? And you know what? We have to continue. I was just trying to give her and then I slowly put the question, how's your back? And she started crying. Now what happened? She's crying and she's saying, I can't thank you enough. I said, what happened? She said, it is as if something has been lifted off me. I've never felt like this. She did a video for me. And in this video, she went on a trek and then sent a video. She said, look, this is what I can do since my back is free.
My goodness. Sreemanti, you have blown our minds today. This is what I ask you. To anyone who's listened to all of these stories that sounds really out of this world, let us know what is your biggest skepticism about hypnotherapy. The first 10 people will get Sreemanti's book. Yes. Sreemanti, can you tell us about your book, what it is called, and what's it about?
So my book is called The Only Way Out Is In. Unlock Your Subconscious Mind. It's available on Amazon. So the book, as you know, the title is The Only Way Out Is In. So if there's only one line I would like to end with is this. You are the creator of your own reality. You are enough. All the answers that you're looking outside is within you. And that's what the book is all about. It talks about the concepts, the myths about hypnotherapy, and also this 20, including mind story, there's 21 stories of these transformations that do not seem probably logical, but it's all true. Okay, so it's all there, and also some methods which you can yourself practice at home. Yeah. So that is my book is all about. The Only Way Out Is In.
Wonderful. Can you tell us where we can find you and the work that you do?
So you can find me. I am the CEO, the owner. I love that of Healing with Shree. You can Google me up. You can use ways like I'm there, like on all the social media platforms like Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube. So it's Healing with Shree. So healing spelling, HealingWithSree. It's all one line. So even if you Google up, by the way, if you Google up hypnotherapy, you'll find Healing with Shree on the top without any SEO, any marketing, nothing, just by word of mouth.
Wow.
Yes, it's true, by the way. It's true.
Yeah, I mean, to get to that point, you've got to have so many people giving you Google reviews to come on top and rank there. So that's a wonderful thing.
You're so right. Because the amount of reviews I have is not even maybe 1/20th of my actual number of clients. But there are clients who have given. So I'm thankful for those who have given. I'm thankful for also those who haven't. Because in the end, it doesn't matter. You have to just find me. That's it. No, I'm happy, really.
Thank you so much, Shree, for the work that you do. Please shed your light the way that you've been doing.
Thank you, Tanya.
And
I feel somewhere, Tanya, you are also creating that light. As you just told me in the beginning, I just feel like doing it. So that feeling is all about. When you are feeling like it and you're committed to it, there's nothing which can stop you. So continue this good work of shedding light, and I'm doing mine.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.